Now, hang on a minute. This is absurd. You might be wondering why I'm reviewing Loki episode 1 and 2 this late. Well, I never do it again. Hey everyone, the name Dash, and I'm here to talk about Loki episode 1 and 2 together. Now, like I told you, I know I'm a bit late. I know, sorry about that acting. I was just trying to act like, Tom Hiddleston as Loki on the Loki show. Like, these were a couple of dialogues he actually said, like, hang on a minute, this is absurd, and, well, I'd never do it again. And I think that was a little bit like poor portrayal, or poor copying of, Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I know I'm not as experienced as Tom Hiddleston, so forgive me when it comes to acting. But let's talk about Loki, episode 1 and 2. First of all, let's talk about episode 1, of course. And I have to really say, so far, not just episode 1, like when I first watched episode 1, I was already so interested in it. And then I was hoping for episode 2 to continue the same vibe as episode 1 did. And neither of them disappointed. And thus, I'm not disappointed so far. It's going pretty well. I think after WandaVision came Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then exactly after 1 month came Loki, and I feel like Loki has had a stronger hook compared to Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. I mean, you can disagree if you want to, but this is just my opinion. I feel like because of the fact that how it starts off with Loki back in 2012, when he loses against the Avengers in the Battle of New York, and then he gets transported to Asgard. But then what happens here? If you remember, there's a scene in Avengers Endgame in 2019 when Avengers travel back in time, and Hulk hits Tony Stark from 2023, and then the Tesseract flies away or slides away, and then it reaches to Loki, and then Loki goes somewhere else instead of Asgard, where he was supposed to go with Thor, like we saw at the end of Avengers 1 back in 2012. But this time, he goes somewhere else, which was the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. However, unfortunately, because that wasn't part of the timeline, that wasn't supposed to happen, he gets arrested by these time agents, TVA agent, Time Variant Authority, like agents from the Time Variant Authority, and then they take him back. The reason why they're time variants because Loki, he himself is a variant, and if you remember back in 2018 when the actual Loki, the real Loki, gets killed by Thanos, like his neck gets snapped like that. So this one was actually a variant, and now he gets taken to the Time Variant Authority, where his fate is decided. He's about to get executed or something, but then he actually gets saved by this character who's played by Owen Wilson, and I'm going to be talking about him after a while. And the name of the character is Mobius, and they need his help for finding him, who's another Loki, but a lady Loki, and not just him, but there's so many other Loki. But so far, this show has actually focused on the lady Loki, which I'll also be talking about in a few minutes. But yeah, speaking of whatever I've told you so far, like the plot of this show so far, I have to really say this plot is a very unique plot, and in a way it was quite unexpected for me, just because I didn't expect Loki to be someone like this, like be helping TVA, or just the character of Loki was more about magic and mischief. But all of a sudden now he's in the hands of the Time Variant Authority, and I didn't expect these two to get along with each other. A mischievous and magical god, and there's a Time Variant Authority that have that keep track of the timeline, make sure the timeline goes the way it's supposed to. But for that reason, I have to say it was unique and unexpected at the same time. However, one thing that kept the show has been good overall, but the most significant part of the show, aspect of this show, is the chemistry between Loki and Mobius, who are played by Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson respectively. I cannot say how good it was, how brilliant their chemistry was. I cannot stress upon it anymore, because let's think about it. Like back in WandaVision, let's just look at it. Back in WandaVision, it was a chemistry between Vision and Wanda that was the key chemistry. I mean, there's also Darcy and then Randall Park, which was also very hilarious chemistry. Then in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we had Sam and Bucky. Their chemistry was quite hilarious. Now we have Loki and Mobius, who have this very awesome chemistry, awesome slash hilarious chemistry, which I'm more looking forward to, and in later on in the show. But yeah, I have to say this plot was brilliant. But yeah, let's talk about female Loki or Lady Loki. Yeah, because what happened in sorry for a yes, but in the second episode we get a better look of her. I like the way they introduced her when she beats up or she mind controls this agent who then beats up other agents, and at the same time there's that hero song playing. The song, I need a hero. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast. He's gotta be larger than life. Wait, who was the singer of that? Bonnie, I think. I don't remember the full name. Sorry for that. I will check again. But wow, that was a great background song to play while that was going on. The fight scene was going on. But about Lady Loki being able to mind control other agents without even being inside them or anything. That is something to really look forward to. Pretty cool superpower. Because then we also see her later on in the second episode using that to beat Loki, the original Loki up, Tom Hiddleston's Loki up. And we then finally see at the end how Tom Hiddleston's Loki follows Lady Loki, and they just suddenly disappear from and the TVA, and then now the TVA have to search for Tom Hiddleston's Loki. But I'm still looking forward to what happens next, because predictions are Lady Loki is not even Lady Loki, but she's actually Enchantress, and she might actually not be the bad guy. So we can only get to know that in later episodes. And along with that, Loki just went where she went at the end of the second episode, which I'm now also looking forward to how they get along with each other. Are they just gonna continue fighting, or are they gonna have a conversation with each other and probably ally with each other? So these are some things that I think are worth looking into, looking forward to later on in this on the show. However, last but not least, I seriously have to talk about Tom Hiddleston's portrayal as Loki. His just acting was somewhat really phenomenal, and one of the scenes that really stood out to me was the scene when so there's a scene where Loki, he sees his entire fate, how things are supposed to turn out to be. So I told you at the end of Avengers, the 2012 Avengers, when Loki gets transported to Asgard with Thor with a Tesseract, then we see Loki in movies like Thor: The Dark World, then Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame. So Tom Hiddleston Loki, who doesn't know about any of that, because he kind of created this Nexus event where he creates his alternate timeline, so he doesn't know what was supposed to happen, what was planned for him. So he gets to see all of that. So he gets to see what happens to him in the Dark World, in Ragnarok, in Infinity War. And when it comes to Infinity War, that's when he really, because we know how Thanos snaps his neck off, but then we don't see that in this show, because instead what happens they show Tom Hiddleston's acting, and the reaction to his neck being snapped is when Thanos is holding on to Loki, you will never be God, and then he gets snapped, right? But we don't get to see that. Instead, we get to see the reaction of Tom Hiddleston's Loki, where he just seriously he just, tears just come from his eyes like that, and he's just he is shocked, and that's why tears come. But the way he was able to show his reaction with all those tears, which looked really natural, the way he was able to create those tears naturally without even actually feeling sad about it, because he's just acting it out. But the fact that he could act that out was something really brilliant, and I really have to appreciate that acting of his. And I hope he continues to have brilliant acting like this in the later episodes. But honestly speaking, he was always a very interesting character throughout the entire MCU, in Avengers, then Thor, and Dark World, Thor 2, Ragnarok, Infinity War. But now that he got his own show, we get to see more of him and more of his acting. So I hope they keep up the great work with the show. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to what happens between Lady Loki, who's supposed to be Enchantress, and Tom Hiddleston's Loki. And until then, until next time, I'll see you.